On April 25th of this year, Vicky Phelan settled her case with the US lab for €2.5 million, and it's set in course a chain of events that still has some way left to run.
I think there's a lot of fear out there. I think there's a lot of distress and anxiety around the whole cervical cancer screening scandal.
The women in question have every right to demand answers.
As it emerged that more and more women were in the same boat, the government scrambled to contain public anger.
Who is strong enough in the political system to call in the head of the HSE and say, you know what, you're fired?
4 different investigations were launched, the first of which reported this week.
We asked an expert to come and do a huge body of work. He's read 12,800 documents. He or his team have visited all the labs. He's worked with 3 other doctors. He's interviewed all the key people involved.
Dr. Gabriel Scally produced a 170-page report that included 50 recommendations to overhaul our cervical cancer screening programme. And while the report was welcomed by many, including Vicky Phelan, its publication was marred by leaks.
Denying the Department of Health had any role in that whatsoever.
The Department of Health had it, the Department of the Taoiseach had it, the Attorney General had it. I'm not accusing Dr. Scally, but obviously his team had it. Lots of people had this report.
In his report, Dr. Scally concluded that the system was doomed to failure. There was gaps in governance structures, there was a lack of expertise, there was no proper professional advisors. Basically, management was a mess, and a lot of the time, it was impossible to answer a simple question: who is in charge of cervical check?
When I got this report yesterday and I read about the absolute, omni-shambles that cervical check was really, and Scally said it himself, they were doomed to fail.
While all the US labs were deemed to be up to scratch, Dr. Scally did note that a lab previously used had been outsourcing their cervical smear testing, unbeknownst to anyone in Ireland. And while this requires urgent action, he recommended against establishing a commission of investigation. Instead, Dr. Scally wants the government to get on with implementing his recommendations and restoring faith in our cervical screening programme.